All right, so now we're up to the middle trapezius rhomboids. They're the scapular retractors. Retraction is basically bringing your shoulder blades together. So again, easiest way to do the retraction, somebody just had a surgery, doctor doesn't want them to do much, so we want to work the retractors to start laying down the foundation for shoulder movement. This is a great way to do it. Typically wouldn't start with black, but it's right here. So plexi, put the arm entirely in here. Help the patient with this. They're not going to be able to lift their arm, so be careful putting this thing on all the way up here. Okay, so you don't want to get bunched up, so you wrap it around so it's not all over the place. So nice and tight, holding the TheraBand. Okay, they're sitting facing this way. From here, all they do is just squeeze their shoulder blades. That's it. So come back, come forward. I'm not shrugging like a windshield wiper. I want to stay in contact with the plexi, and there's really no friction. So if you find that you need more plexi underneath you, that's fine. Just make sure this doesn't dig into the person. But they squeeze back. Their palms could be, like my fist is up like that. I'm like this. You can be like this, however you want. Doesn't really matter. So shoulder starts here, and it just drives straight back. So now I'm going to show you, I'm going to keep filming. If I were to, my right arm is basically doing this. It's here. If it was, imagine it's on the plexi, and it's just squeezing. So the shoulder blade is going from here to there. It's just doing this, there and there. It's not doing this. It's not doing this. The elbow is not bending. Everybody's going to want to try to bend their elbow on this one. But again, tell like my hand is in the sheet. It's just squeeze back. Don't let them do this, because then they're using the shoulder, and you don't want to do that. All right. So that's plexi retraction with the plexi board. So in number 28, we also have plexi wide. So you hold it from here, from here. This is when someone is too weak to do it on the machine. You can hold it like this, and all they do is, now they're allowed to do movement, and they come back forward like that. So this one you want to start with the plexi right at the base of their wrist, because you want room for their elbow to go back, even a little further if you want. So from here, they go back and forward. They're doing this wide exercise without having to hold their arm up and go back. So this is plexi with, wide with plexi on the table, all right, with a T-band. And again, you start out with whatever T-band you want, but it should be no shrugging, and it should just be the elbow going back and basically squeezing your shoulder blades together, doing that retraction. All right, so that was number 28. 29, which is ER pinches with band. This is a good ER exercise, but it's also a good, mid-trap rhomboids exercise. Again, it's an easy one. I'm going to show you the front, what it looks like. Nobody should ever grab the T-band like this. It's a big no-no. So if you ever see this, tell the person, grab it nice and tight so it starts off being taut. Elbows are at their sides, and from here, they just squeeze and they bring their shoulder blades down. So it's not this, they don't shrug. They squeeze ER and they pinch their shoulder blades together. So again, from the back, they squeeze and they bring their shoulder blades in. And they come forward. And when they come forward, there's still no slack. And they just squeeze it back here. So that's ER pinches with T-band. 3 sets of 15 with those. No neck pain. If they're getting neck pain, it means they're doing this too much. So just drop your shoulders down and squeeze it back. All right, that's number 29. Number 30 is prone or bent over with a half-moon retraction with a dumbbell. So we'll keep it going. We'll get the, pretend that I have I'll just grab a dumbbell. So prone, I'll show you in a minute, but if you see bent over retraction, the more you lean forward, the better it is for the angle or the line of pull of retraction. So if you're like this, it's really not good. You really want to be bent over like this. So if the person's tall, you can get them this to kind of lean on this thing. You can put your whole body weight on it. So you can do this. If they're short, you probably don't need this. They could just do this. So they can do this. From here, their arm just hangs. And then it just comes straight up. You see how the dumbbell's not moving? It's not going this way, that way. Wherever it is, it's just being brought straight up. I'm not shrugging here, okay? I don't want to do this. I want to go straight back. Shoulder blade starts from one end and goes towards the middle or towards the other side of my back. Okay, so that's bent over retraction, either with no table or, if they're taller, with a half moon. All right? Some people can't lay on their stomachs. We don't want to make them lay on their stomachs if it's uncomfortable for them. So the therapist will let you know that, or if you see that it's really difficult for them and the therapist just missed the fact that it's hard for them, they just suggest, hey, can we do it bent over or with a half moon, because it's just hard for them to do. There's a lot of different ways to do a lot of different exercises. You don't have to go on the stomach, especially if people have neck pains and stuff, or if it's just a pain in the neck to get them on and off the table, we'll do it a different way. But if they're gonna do it prone, again, on a diagonal, okay? Table never digs into the shoulder, so they move over plenty. Let the arm just hang. What we used to do is put the little laminate sheets on the floor that people couldn't trip over. But we're not gonna put this down, I'm just putting this down for the video. But you see, this is staying in line with the dumbbell the whole time. And what I'm gonna do here is, same thing, my feet are hanging off from here, come up and squeeze. I'm using my visual feedback to make sure this is in line with the timer that I put on the floor. Because if it starts to do this, that means I'm shrugging. It's moved offline, and I'm doing it incorrectly. But if it stays in line, then it should be perfect, because I'm going straight up, straight down. I'm squeezing, and I'm coming back down. Therapist, aides, if you see people doing this exercise, and this is the 3 sets of 15, and if you see that, you know, it looks kind of easy and the rest of their exercises look more advanced than this one, then suggest maybe advancing. This is a very early on exercise we give to people right out of surgery when they're in a lot of pain. We quickly try to get them off of this and, you know, advance with the harder exercises. So this is prone retraction, okay? 3 sets of 15 with that one. Now we're gonna go over to seated retraction on the side backs, which is number 31, all right? It says right here, 3 sets of 15. When a person gets in, you want to be able to do that. If they sit down, they go like this, their chin should rest. That's how it should be, all right? If you see a guy who's tall, who's at least 6 foot or higher, this seat should just go straight to a seat 7, all right? Drop it all the way down. If they're a little thing, then you have to adjust the seat. But use your common sense. If they're tall, if they have big limbs, you don't want to do this, because you're going to keep hearing this. So you want to bring this out like this. Let's say the affected arm is the left one, but you don't want the person to reach too much. Have them reach with the right, grab it, bring it in. This is retraction with the left arm. So single left retraction. You want to have this straight up here. So now, if I'm doing retraction, I can go all the way down. You want the seat a little lower on retraction compared to when you're doing wide or narrow. Remember that. So you can go 1 seat lower. Reason being is the grip. You want this to be in line. You don't want them grabbing here. You see how it's off? You want the wrist and the shoulder in the same line. So rather than grabbing up here, you can lower the seat. They don't have to grab so high. They can maybe put their, you know, index finger over it, and they're still holding on. So straight from here, other hand is here, holding on. Feet are out in front of them, sitting up nice and tall. You don't want like this. Sitting up nice and tall from here. Squeeze your shoulder blade in, back down. Squeeze it in, back down. This is an advancement of the prone one we just did. So this is retraction, cable column, side backs, I'm sorry. Side backs, straight back. You don't want to see shrugging. It's the big no-no on this one. And you also don't want to see any of this, elbow bending. So keep the elbow straight, and I actually hold the person's elbow sometimes. And I'll literally take one hand on the elbow, one hand on the forearm, and I'll just literally guide them back, like this is what you're doing. Or I go from behind them and I put my hand on the inside of their shoulder blades, and I squeeze their shoulder blades in. You can put your hands on people. Show them what you want. So I put my hands on their shoulder blade, and I just bring it over to the left. I go, this is what you're doing. You're squeezing your shoulder blades. Or if they're doing this bilaterally, you can put your fingers in between their shoulder blades, right on their spine, and you can say, pinch my fingers with your shoulder blades, and they'll get what you're talking about. Okay, so that's bilateral, this is single. Okay, so that's retraction on the side backs. Okay, prone wide or bent over wide. So now we're gonna go number 32. So same thing we did before, this is number 32 now, where we did the retraction. If you see now, we're going into a little bit of a harder exercise, where it's not so much just this, but now we're gonna do the bent over again. The more bent over you are, the better. You don't want somebody like this. Not a great line of pull. So you want to really bent over, or they could do this. Okay, knees are slightly bent. They're leaning all the weight onto their left arm. Right arm is like this. Come straight up, down, straight up and down. Nothing else is moving other than my arm. I'm not twisting. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not hyperextending or doing anything like that. Just come straight up and down. This is prone wide. This is bent over wide actually. Okay, and if I wanted to do it, if I was taller, I wanted to use the half moon, I could do this. Some people can't lay flat or bend over all the way because they have like vertigo and things like that. So you have to adjust. This is prone wide. Again, table doesn't dig into my shoulder. I'm on an angle. Okay, come up. Same thing we did before. We did the prone wide to ER. Remember, this is just prone wide. That means the person's not ready to do this yet, and we don't care or want to work the rotator cuff. We just want to do prone wide. Okay, down and up. Elbow back, squeezing the shoulder blade, not shrugging. So, reverse bench is always, the incline is right here. 2 holes showing past the incline. Okay? Or you can do 1 hole showing at the end. However you want to do it, but that's basically it. So reverse bench is more an advanced exercise. You wouldn't give this to your older population. You give this to a younger athlete or somebody who's like in shape. All right. Again, the chin comes down. It would touch the pad, but it doesn't. Okay. Our feet are here. I'm kind of straddling it, but it's a great exercise because it leaves you nowhere to go. You can't really compensate. And then you start from here. Dumbbells are here. You come up into a wide, and you come back down. Come up, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then come back down. It's a great exercise to work the retractors and your mid-trap rhomboids. Squeeze it. Just make sure you don't shrug it. If you feel it in your neck, that means you got to drop it back down. So again, come up like this. You don't have to be all the way up like this. You can have your elbows down a little bit, but as long as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. So that's reverse bench, which is this, the position that we're in, and then wide. So what we did over there with this reverse bench wide was number 33. Number 34 is a single wide row with a T-band. Again, we did this before. Have a good, taut TheraBand. Knees are slightly unlocked. You put your hand here, you put your hand on your hips, however you want it. Come straight back. Single wide. Okay? So that's that with a TheraBand. And again, no twisting. And then we can progress that, I don't know if it's the next number, to the, yeah, it's the same number. We're going to do the, here. See how it's slightly above me, it's okay. At level or slightly above is okay. Knees slightly bent, come back, come forward. Come back, come forward. In the back view, this thing moves around. So you got your patient stand wherever you want so you guys can watch it. Come back, come forward. Again, nothing else should be moving other than my arm. You see my shoulder blade squeezing to the other side. Okay? Alright guys, this is the neutral bar. First thing you want to make sure before you do anything is make sure the patient gets in. And this is snug. Okay? You always bring this out and bring it up higher. Make sure the weight is set. Patient's going to grab this little note up there. It says look here. So you're going to grab this. Their feet are stable. You don't want their knees back here, their feet back here. You don't want their feet here, like this. So once they have this, all they do now is lean back first. Okay, they're not starting anything now. They just lean back, and this bar is going to go right towards their chin, here, and then forward. Very important that they don't shrug. Okay. Sometimes when you tell people, oh, keep your elbows up, they go like this, and they shrug their shoulders. If you look at my shoulders right now, I'm shrugging. You don't have to do that. So you say, look, bring your elbows down a little bit. You can give up on the elbow up position to so they don't shrug their shoulders. So from here, right towards their mouth, and they squeeze their shoulder blades together, and then they come forward again. You notice nothing else is moving. I'm not doing this. I'm not moving my whole body. My torso stays the same. Back, forward. Back, forward. Breathe out on the hard part, and then bring it back in. So this is the neutral bar. 3 sets of 15. Okay, so your mid-trap and rhomboids. The next one we're going to do is number 36. It's the Crescents. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen this exercise done a few times, but put it like this over the wrist. Now what they do is they bring it back like this, so they have to hold their retractors. Then they come down and up. Down and up. If you look, the TheraBand is behind me the whole time. So just so you get a visual, it's not like this, down and up. It's like this, down and up. So I have to hold my shoulder and my scapula in retraction, and from here, then I go up. I'm just doing it this way so you can see. But pretty much what you see is elbows, knees are bent slightly, back, down, straight up, back down. Once they get up to here, the arm's going to want to come forward. Don't let it. Keep it back. But again, the whole body shouldn't be twisting. All right, so this should just be back like this. These are crescent, scaptions, and crescent. Okay, or retraction. That's a great exercise. Even the few that I just did for you right there, I felt it all in the back. So just make sure that they're not shrugging. Make sure that your hand is behind the hips at all times, and they're going back and forth. It's a great multi-directional stability exercise for the retractors. Okay, so number 37, we just did standing T-band crescents. This is one that's going to be harder. Again, you could be on your knees and do this. You could be here, one hand here. Okay, prone crescents on Physioball with a dumbbell or a cuff weight. If they have trouble holding the weight, you can wrap a cuff weight around their wrist. They basically do this, up over your head, down, up. And again, you try to squeeze your shoulder blades together so it doesn't drop, but it's post-delt action and mid-trap rhomboids, and you're bringing your arm up and down. It's a great exercise for the shoulder. Hold the entire shoulder girdle. All right, you can do it with bilaterals. Come up like this, this. It's a great exercise. Even the little bit that I'm doing right now, you feel burning because you're retracting and you're horizontally abducting your shoulder blades out of your shoulders, so your post-delts are working. And then from here, you're going up and down. It's a great exercise. So prone crescent, number 37. All right, so the next one is prone ball drops on Physioball in T's, Y's, 90-90 ER. It's a plyometric exercise. It's really something that you want to give to somebody that's an athlete, or it could be anybody that wants to get back. They don't have to be an athlete, that you really want a lot of shoulder function and power, and pitchers is really good to give this back to. Basically, ball drops is the ball's going to drop, and they got to catch it. You got to keep bringing it up, keep catching it. They can do it where they hold something out like this and do it. So this is in T's, which is out to the side. In Y's, okay, if this hand doesn't want to hold anything, it doesn't have to, you can stabilize, but you're coming up like this. So your lower trap's getting a good workout here. All right, before your mid-trap rhomboids are getting a good workout here. This is 90-90. Your external rotator is getting a good workout here. And your retractors. So again, T's, Y's, 90-90. Okay? And you can do it timed, or you can do it by reps. 30 reps is, one set. Like that. All right? Not like that, but holding the ball. So prone ball drops in various motions. Typically what we like to see is all three of those. So if we could do prone ball drops in, T's, Y's, and 90-90 is good. Maybe like 2-3 sets of each one. That's a great exercise to do. And then therapists and aides, when you have exercise like that being added, you want to really consider like what exercise we could slough off, because that's a really hard exercise to do. And it's a great exercise, but maybe take out easier ones that the person's doing and move to higher functional ones like this one's a great one. All right, so that was number 38, prone ball drops. So now we're going to scale it all the way back. That was all mid-trap rhomboids. Now we're going to go on to lower trap. And again, somebody that just got out of surgery, and we want to work the scapular depressors, okay? Your lower trap depresses your shoulder blade, brings it down, okay? It's a primary function of the shoulder, especially when you want to go overhead. But early on, when the person's, let's say, they can't do anything at their shoulder, passing range of motion only, at the shoulder, which is this joint right here, doesn't mean you can't work the scapula, which is why we're doing a plexi retraction and other things like that. This is a great way to work your scapular depressor. So what you do is, the other hand brings this down, then they grab it here, okay, without moving their arm too much. Elbows pinned to their side, and then they just straighten out their elbow. Again, something that doesn't bother the shoulder or going against what the doctor orders are. And from here, basically I'll show you the hand slides up and straight down. The TheraBand comes up, the elbow stays straight, it doesn't bend, okay? It comes straight up, straight down. So from the back, it should look like this. Up, down. This is the eccentric part, allowing it to come up, up. And then the concentric part, straight down, try to reach down towards your toe without doing this. Nothing should be like this. The trunk shouldn't be involved. Up, down, up, down. Okay, so that's scapular depression or lower trap with T-band, but I like standing scapular depression. That's what we should call it. So same thing. Now we're up to number 40, prone or bent over on a half moon, lower trap with a dumbbell. So, same thing. Same reasons as before. The person can't go onto their stomach, it hurts, it's too much, or whatever. You can do this, and again, the more bent over you are, the better. So if they're really, really tall, use this. If they're not, use this. From here, you don't want to come straight up this way, it's not flexion. You don't want to come out this way, it's not abduction. It's out to the side, it's a lower trap. Now if they go up and they start shrugging too much, so go up and back down, up and back down. It's not one of those exercises like when you're doing a bicep curl, you're like, oh yeah, I feel it right here, or chest or tricep. It's weird. They'll feel it back here. That's fine. You're working out the right muscle. All right, your lower trap again. Here, up, thumb up, back down. If you're doing this prone, same rules as before, and this exercise goes with your early on rehab when you're prone retraction. We'll get to prone post out, but they're on an angle already. Don't let the angle of the person throw you off. Many times people are on an angle, and I see this. This is wrong, because this is still flexion. They still have to come out on an angle. All right, so again, aides, when you're watching this, the person's gonna be on an angle. It's gonna look like they're doing it correctly, but if you hone in on the shoulder, this is not correct. Even though this is on an angle in relation to the body, this has to be it. This is a lower trap. And again, if they go too far and they're doing this, no good. If they're doing this and they're shrugging, no good. Nothing else moves. Come up, come down nice and slow. And it's not a swing. It's up, 1, 2, 3, hold, down, 1, 2, 3. Up, 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3. All right? You see I'm really on an angle here? That's okay. I don't want this to touch my shoulder. And I don't want the person to feel like they're gonna fall off. My foot's hooked in here, my other foot can come off. This hand's right here, I'm totally stable, okay? You don't wanna see this. You never wanna see this, but this is touching on an angle. All right, so that's your prone, lower trap, or bent over, lower trap. And again, in the spirit of advancing from easiest to hardest. The easiest one was that T-band. A little bit harder was the bent over one we just did. Harder than that now is going to be this. You can do 2 pillows here, okay? Depending on the size of the person, I want the person to start with, bring the seat down 90 degrees. This is their start position. Turn the pillows, so the corner of the dumbbell's on the corner of the pillow. Sit up nice and tall, starting up and then back down. Right before they touch, they go back up again. Or their tricep can lightly touch the pillow, right about here, and then they go back up. And again, nothing is this, okay? Again, the rules of nothing else moves other than the joint that you're working. Go up nice and slow, down nice and slow. If this is a 2-pounder, if I get from here to here, but if I take the weight away, they can get all the way up. What should we do? Take the weight away and get as much range of motion as you can. If I can only get from here to here, with or without the weight, but I can get to the same spot without the weight that I can with a 2-pounder, then work with the 2-pounder. That's called strengthening within the available range that you have to you, available for you. So if you get from here to here with or without weight, of course, do the one with the weight. But if taking the weight away allows you to get more range of motion, then take the weight away. Until the person can maybe start with a 1-pounder. So always keep that in mind with whatever exercise you're doing. Range of motion, full range of motion is key, and then you can start to strengthen. All right. So the person should never start from, they should never start from a here and go all the way up. They should always come right back down to here and then go as high up as they can. That's the most important thing. Okay. So this is lower trap seated, 90 and above. Okay, but it's all 90 and above. This one's called the reverse bench lower traps, or just reverse bench Ys. Okay, when we do Ys, we're doing lower traps. So it's a hard exercise to do even with 10 pounds, but you lay down in the same position, one hole showing down here, and they're up like this. All right, you're straddling it, and you come up and down, up and down. They're not doing flexion, okay? They're not doing this. They're coming up on an angle, down. Up on an angle, down. Okay, it's a great lower trap exercise. All right, so lower trap lift off. So now the person is used to, you didn't do incline ones. I basically took out incline lower trap. We're not gonna do incline lower trap anymore. So lower trap lift-offs. Now the person is able to get their arm up over their head. I wanna do this. I come here, right? Bring the arm back here, and I just go back like that. It's a hard exercise to do, back like this. So as I bring this back, I'm gonna bring my shoulder blade down, drive it down, okay? It's not an easy exercise to do, but again, you don't want this, okay? If the person's gotta start with a yellow, then start with the yellow. If they gotta start with the green, start with the green, okay? But this is the exercise from here, and they go straight back. They're lifting off, straight back, okay? That's a high level exercise to do. Now I'm gonna go with 44, which is bilateral lower traps with the bar. It's a great exercise to do again. You wanna have the bar, person's gonna grab it. You notice how I took the chain out, but you have to adjust maybe, because the person's arms are gonna be all the way up. Just slide all the way in. Nothing happens here but this. I let the bar take me up, and then I squeeze back down. Let the bar take me up, and I squeeze back down. My shoulder blades are being elevated because the bar's pulling them up, and then the lower traps are kicking in, and they're doing this. If the person feels like it's pinching, you can come out a little bit and do this. You feel less of a pinch in the shoulder if they bring their arms out. But there's really no other movement going on, okay? It's a great exercise to do. If the person is doing a lat pull down, then this happens naturally. As it goes up, the person comes back down, they scapulate depress, and then they come down and up. And then you can allow them to take it up and down, and then do it again, okay? But typically when we do a lat pull down, we don't allow this to happen. We keep this down the whole time. So if you wanna add that exercise, you can. If you wanna just do a straight up lat pull down and have that person isometrically hold their lats down or their scapula down while they're doing a lat pull down, it's gonna take care of the same thing. But it's just another exercise to have to work the lower traps. All right, so now we moved on to posterior deltoids. Again, always starting back with the easiest one to the hardest one. If we want to get somebody going, I had the T-band here. You would never start with a black. It's the only one that I see. I don't want to waste time and try to get a yellow, but you would always start with like a yellow one. It's a very easy exercise to do. But if you want to just start with active range of motion, this is pretty much where you're going to start. So you have the T-band, you have the shoulder in line with the edge of the plexi, and you want to get more range of motion out of it, so you tilt it this way. The person's going to come out like this, and then come this way. This is an active, just horizontal abduction, not a lot of stress. It's easy to do, okay? If you want to add on with a TheraBand, we're going to go into number 45, which is posterior deltoid on plexi with a T-band seated. So again, this is a hard plexi band to use. I'm trying to make it easier so I don't collapse while I'm showing you this. But again, you want always tension on this. So you start from here. Again, if you think the person's gonna like not be able to keep their wrist relaxed, I just put this right above my wrist. My watch is right here, it's above it. From here, just go out and back in. You can kind of hold the band like this. They come out and back in. Out, don't let it fly back in. 1, 2, 3 out, 1, 2, 3 back. All right, they're not lifting their arm up. The way you always teach the plexi exercises, pretend that you're on a windshield wiper on a windshield. The wiper never comes off, it stays on the whole time. It slides, and it slides back forward. Okay, so it's posterior deltoids with a T-band on a plexi. All right, the next one we're gonna do is prone post delts or bent over. Same thing we did before over here. Okay, so the person can't lay down, they don't wanna lay down, their neck hurts, yada, 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 they're big, it takes 3 hours to get them on and off the table. Okay, prone or bent over, half moon or no half moon. If it just says bent over, ask the therapist or just assess it yourself. If the person's a little tiny thing, they're not gonna need a half moon. But the more bent over they are, the better. For all 3 of those exercises. If you notice what I've been saying, that for the retraction, for the lower trap, and now for the post delts, the more bent over they are, from here, going out, coming back in, the better it is. Going out, coming back in. Without this, they're like this. Okay, their arm is here, their knees are bent, they keep their head forward, they keep their head down, whatever they want, but if they start here, and they go out to the side, and then they swing it back in nice and slow. It's like a pendulum, it goes out, hold for a half a second, bring it back in. People will do this. This is wrong, okay? Out slow, in slow. Out slow, in slow. It should be back here in the arm that they feel it. If they want to do it prone, or if we design it to give it prone, this is the patient again, early on in their rehab, and they want to advance it to harder exercises as the therapist sees fit, but you can make those suggestions and say, hey, look, they're doing these other things, or their arm is able to get up to a certain height. Can we discontinue or DC this exercise and add a harder one? The therapist should tell you it's okay. So you slide over, table's not digging into the shoulder, feet are on the other side, holding on with this hand from here, come out and back in. Sometimes we put a bolster in here, and we stand a bolster straight up. If they need help with knowing how far out they should go, then we'll say, hey, look, you see this thing here? Don't hit it, or if you hit it, you got too far. So from here, they go out here. Maybe we want to bring it out a little bit more. Okay, the aide will decide to come out right before they hit it, and they come back in. Same thing with the lower trap. If we say, hey, look, stay within this angle, and we're going back to that lower trap one, and you want to go up like this, you could do that. Or you move it back a little bit, and you say, hey, look, your arm should be almost touching that pad, but not. Give people visuals to help them figure out their range of motion. So that's the lower trap, and again, doing the post-delts from here, going straight out, then bringing it back in. All right? You basically want to bring your arm out to a point before you start to get your shoulder blade involved. So straight out, back in nice and slow. All right? So that's your post-delts prone or bent over, and that was exercise number 46.